you know, like I say, if they're serious, then they just put her in. But again, I'm not totally going to go out and start saying, no, WWE this and WWE that, and I just think that's it's just not putting China. What's your point of view on it, Matt? So I've gone on a bit here.
No, I'm with you on that. I do kind of feel like it isn't all about China, and I feel like if she were still alive, this still would have been the case.
Mm-hmm.
They still would have inducted DX,
Mm-hmm.
and she would have been included in that, and it would have been a nice way to reintroduce her to the WWE universe.
Mm-hmm.
And time, you know, and it probably still is likely in time that she will get the recognition she deserves for the effort she put into the women's division, and that she will get inducted on a solo one. And I think that will maybe take time. I don't think they're in any rush to do that, but definitely I believe she will get the recognition. I mean, there's loads of superstars that have not been inducted that we know should be, and there's no real reason for these people not being inducted. It is kind of sometimes a process where they just save some, maybe for later years, because we do know, like when you think about it now, they do run out of big names. So, you know, rationing them out for the years is not really a problem, because we know WWE isn't going anywhere. They still have to be inducting people in 15 years' time, you know. And if you're going to put 5, 6, 7, 8 people in a year, you know, you're going to run out of people. There's no real shame in spacing them out a bit. And I feel like with regards to the DX being inducted, it's a great opportunity for each member of DX to acknowledge that not everyone is there to accept this kind of honour. So it'll be a great time for them to tell us a little bit about what they enjoyed about what she brought to DX, and give us some of their fond memories of her.
Yeah, it's very brave of WWE to do this in a lot of respects. I know a lot of people are upset, but my guesstimation here is that when the Hall of Fame is happening, the likelihood is those fans, they'll probably be chanting China all the way through it anyway, and so they will have to acknowledge it. And I think after that, just my feelings, I just think people will do that, and they'll know that China's name, you know, fans are like that. Even if they're not into China, they know, like if we say that'll be edgy. So you know that's going to happen, and you know she's going to get chanted and all the rest of it, and so they will acknowledge that. And you wonder how they handle some of those situations, but you know, they've put themselves into that corner. Like I say with the Hall of Fame, I've kind of like, I don't see the WWE Hall of Fame as the be-all, end-all as I used to. I kind of got a little bit disappointed myself a year and a half ago. I don't know when it was now, but when... and I've said this before about Vader, and, you know, he was there. He used to turn up at every show, and, you know, WWE kind of knew this guy wasn't doing well. You know he's going to be in there. And I feel like sometimes, you know, it's odd because they put, say, with what happened with, of course, you know, the legendary wrestler, of course, Eddie Guerrero, you know, straight, 6 months after he's in. Same as Edge. And not that those guys shouldn't be in there, but this whole timing thing, it really does get to me sometimes. And I do feel like, you know, why do they not just acknowledge these guys when they're around? If you know somebody's not doing well, wouldn't it just be nice to sort of have them come up and feel some sort of acknowledgement whilst they're there? So ever since that's happened, I haven't really been as up on the Hall of Fame as I used to be. Yes, I like to listen to the old timers and hear all the stories, of course I do, but in terms of what the Hall of Fame means to me as a fan, I just don't see it as a legit thing. There are so many wrestlers that should be there, and I've always said, you know, even if you look at celebrities, how on earth somebody like Andy Kaufman isn't in it is beyond me. But, you know, they put in, you know, all these other people, which is sometimes just odd, to say the least. But yeah, DX going in, no problems with that. I heard, you know, years and years ago they were going to thinking about the NWO, and Hogan would have gone in twice. A bit like Horseman. The Horseman went in and Ric Flair went in twice. So groups have always been a thing, and I think DX definitely deserved their place. They were a massive part of the Attitude Era, no doubt about it. So, them and the NWO. I mean, a lot of ways the NWO spurred a lot of the sort of reaction to having that group, obviously. But, DX, major players. And, of course, it gives you a chance to see Sean Waterman in there, and of course Billy Gunn, Matt, who it's going to be interesting for him, isn't it, Matt, because of his current situation. I was thinking about it, and I was thinking, blimey, he's an agent for AEW now, so that'll be an interesting move, won't it? Maybe they'll just not have Billy Gunn there either. They'll just have like a poster of him or something. I don't know, these things, but fascinating. What's that? Yeah. He doesn't get a ring. You're not getting one. Probably Vince will corner him and ask him what on earth he's doing. But no, that'll be interesting, won't it? All that. But yeah, well, let's just see who else is going in there. I mean, no doubt that'll probably be sort of the main event of the thing. They normally have like a main event of the show, and I can't imagine that not being at this point. But I have heard other rumours like the Hart Foundation were going to be inducted, so Brett could also be going in there for a second time. Who knows? But we will wait and see on that one. But that's where I stand with that. Also, Matt, I want to talk as well. Lots of stuff coming in, Matt. The Undertaker, what's he doing? Is he with WWE? Is he going to be at WrestleMania? All these questions that have been coming in, and of course recently, Matt, he signed up to appear at Starcast, which of course Starcast, it's a thing now where you can go and get your autograph signings. It's become a big event every year, and because it's in Vegas and it's going to happen over the same weekend that AEW are there, everybody, of course, is thinking, yes, The Undertaker signed with them. He hasn't signed with them, but he will be there, and he will be around a lot of those wrestlers and talent, but it's nothing to do with AEW. It's a completely separate thing. But it is interesting, Matt, because The Undertaker has never gone out of the WWE realm until now, and now he's taking private bookings all over the place. And it's probably the first time, Matt. I mean, this really is. So this is a great opportunity if you want to go and get The Undertaker's autograph, complete legend, without being in the sort of WWE umbrella. That is now possible. What do you think, Matt, for The Undertaker? And it does look pretty certain, Matt, that he will not be at WrestleMania this year.
Yeah, I mean, we was kind of getting used to the fact that he wouldn't be there last year,
Mm-hmm.
and then they had a match that, I don't know whether that goes down in the record books and actually being a match or not, but it definitely didn't leave the fans wishing they could see him again anytime soon.
Mm-hmm.
They weren't being like, oh, I wish next WrestleMania he could have a match just like that. No one was thinking that. I don't feel like the outcry is there for him as much this year. I know people always wonder whether he's going to be there, but I don't feel like there's a need for it, or people aren't saying, well, I'm dying to see him have this match with whoever. I feel like he's finally gotten to that point where he sort of ticked every big name off his list, and even John Cena, whether or not you class that as legitimately having that match, but it went down anyway. There's always a possibility for another one with him. I've learnt that now. I mean, there's been many times when I thought, he was on his way out and he's had his last match and it was a perfect way to go out, but it just didn't happen. I kind of feel like now, unfortunately, you could give it another 10 years and he might turn up in some sort of Royal Rumble, Legends Battle Royal, I feel like the door's always open for this guy.
Yeah, it's kind of a shame for him, Elias, because he's like, he's probably in most people's top 5 always. He's never number 1, but he's always in your top tier, and he's definitely one of the guys. And I do feel like, when it was his time, I was completely sad. I mean, I was emotional wreck at the time. I remember after it all happened, and I think me and Matt were both sort of mourning after all that, to be honest with you, on the podcast. If you go back and listen to it, it's a very sad time. And you think of last year and you think, why? Why do that? Personally, I'm with Matt. I don't think there is an outcry. I think if I was him, I would give it a couple of years and, then think about making an appearance at a WrestleMania. Not a match, but an appearance. Because he can always have that. He's always going to be nostalgic. He's always going to have, kind of like Hulk Hogan in a way. He's as big as that. And that character is just probably the best character of all times. So, he doesn't have to sort of go out and break his back to do it. He can just go out and be the Undertaker. I think that's fine. What was interesting though is what I was reading about is who actually owns a lot of the name rights and everything. And it turns out that Mark Calloway is an astute businessman. He has that name. So where WWE normally have trademark over everything and all the rest of it, well, they didn't get this one. So if anything, this does allow the Undertaker a little bit of room here. Now, I'm not saying he would, but let's just say he wanted to show up at another show and be the Undertaker. That is very possible. So that's interesting that he's able to do that. I'm not saying he will or he would or anything else, but when you consider the guys like Cody Rhodes, who was born with the bloody name Cody Rhodes, who now even can't use it because of this, the whole ownership of the bloody name and everything, which is ridiculous. It just goes to show you, the Undertaker did well there. So it's why WWE don't like guys using their own names half the time, but. For the Undertaker, done very well there, Matt, because of course he could make a lot of money just by going around doing the signings as he's doing. So we will see. A lot of people saying, will he go to AEW? I doubt it very much. But what I would suggest, if they had any real sense here, is I would sign a guy like The Undertaker to be an ambassador or something like that. I would, if he was out of contract from WWE, I would put him on a huge deal and have him just representing your company, because his name value would mean an awful lot. And so that's where I sit with that. If you want somebody who knows how to control a locker room and everything else, think of the knowledge that guy has. I would definitely be going out of my way to be getting him. Now, while sticking with AEW, Matt, in the last month, it's got to be said, Matt, we've just about seen, it's like the sort of transfer window of football, isn't it? It's like, who's going? Is he going? He wants to go. She wants to go. The Revival want to go, so we give them the belts. Absolute chaos, Matt. Is there any guy that we haven't seen linked with AEW, Matt, or girl for that matter? It's been absolutely nuts, hasn't it, since all this has started, and yet AEW hasn't even had a match, haven't even had an event. I do want to say though that Double or Nothing sold out very, very fast, so that's gone down well. That's going to be I'm sure, a huge success. They've signed now, Matt, since the last time we spoke, we were unsure. We were thinking, would Kenny Omega make it to the Royal Rumble? Now officially, we know he won't. Kenny Omega has signed probably, I don't know how long it's been, Matt, but a free agent like Kenny Omega to not sign with WWE, I know people may downplay it and may say, well, that's because he's got friends. I think it's a huge statement. I think that's the signing I was waiting for. I thought if they get that done, I'm going to be more of a believer. And that's including Chris Jericho there. Because Kenny Omega, at this time, what he represents in his prime, I think that's a huge start to get. And he's not somebody who's been in WWE. So they've got him fresh. What did you make of the press conferences they've had so far, Matt, and some of the signings they've been making? What's your take of it so far?
Yeah, I mean, it's always good news when a company like this comes about and breathes a bit of fresh life into the scene. I feel like the company's going to do very well. It's definitely got a lot of support, and a lot of the fans that want to see AEW, a lot of them